are watching The Educated Weirdo.
Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Educated Weirdo. This channel is designed to provide you with innovative information that empowers your intellect. So, please enjoy. The previously red-hot housing market is currently beginning to cool off at the same rapid pace that mortgage rates are increasing. Even if home prices have not yet reached their all-time highs, there is growing anxiety that they may do so in the near future. As a result of all of this, people are wondering whether or not the housing market of today is in the same dilemma that it was in over a decade ago, when the crisis of 2007-2008 created the Great Recession. No, to give the answer in a nutshell, the state of the housing market in the United States is significantly improved at this time. This can be attributed, at least in part, to the brand new lending laws that came about as a direct result of the catastrophe. Borrowers in this day and age stand on much more solid ground as a result of these rules. The average borrower's FICO credit score for the 53.5 million first lien home mortgages in the United States today is 751, which is the highest it has ever been. It had reached 699 by the year 2010, 2 years after the collapse of the financial sector. Lenders have been significantly stricter in their lending practices, and the majority of this has been reflected in the quality of loans. During the previous 2 years, the demand that was spurred by the pandemic has resulted in a rise in home prices. As a result, the equity that today's homeowners have in their homes is at an all-time high. According to Black Knight, a provider of mortgage technology and data, the total amount of tappable equity, often known as the amount of cash a borrower may take out of their home while still keeping 20% equity on paper, reached a historic high of $11 trillion collectively this year. That represents a 34% increase from the same time last year. At the same time, leverage, which refers to the ratio of a homeowner's total debt to the value of their home, has experienced a significant decline. The total amount of mortgage debt held by Americans is at an all-time low, coming in at less than 43% of their home's current prices. Negative equity, which occurs when a borrower owes more on the loan than the value of the home, is nearly unheard of today. Compare this to the situation in 2011, when more over 1/4 of all borrowers were in negative equity. Only 2.5% of homeowners who have taken out loans have equity in their homes that is less than 10%. All of this gives a significant buffer in the event that property prices do decline. Fewer loans with high potential for loss. There are approximately 2.5 million adjustable rate mortgages, also known as ARMs, which are currently outstanding. This represents approximately 8% of all active mortgages. This volume is the lowest one ever recorded. Fixed terms for ARMs are most commonly found for periods of 5, 7, or 10 years. In 2007, just prior to the collapse of the housing market, there were 13.1 million adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, which represented 36% of all mortgages. In those days, the underwriting for those kinds of loans was, to put it mildly, shaky, but after the housing market crisis, new regulations modified the criteria. Not only are adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, underwritten to their fully indexed interest rate, but also more than 80% of today's ARM originations also run under a fixed rate during the first 7 to 10 years of the loan's term. The interest rates on 1.4 million adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, are about to be increased, which means that the monthly payments for the associated borrowers will also increase. There is no denying the danger that poses. In spite of this, around 10 million ARMs were subject to higher resets in the year 2007. Mortgage delinquencies are low. The percentage of mortgages that are overdue by more than 30 days is currently at a record low of slightly under 3%. In spite of the sharp increase in delinquencies that occurred during the first year of the pandemic, there are far fewer mortgages that are overdue now than there were before the outbreak. Millions of borrowers were able to get back on their feet with the assistance of mortgage forbearance programs established in response to the pandemic. Nonetheless, there are still 645,000 borrowers participating in these programs. However, there are around 300,000 debtors who have exhausted all of the forbearance programs connected to the epidemic and are still behind on their payments. In addition, mortgage delinquencies have been on the rise recently, particularly for more recent loan originations, despite the fact that they are still at historically low levels overall. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, The availability of mortgage credit is significantly lower than it was immediately before the epidemic, indicating that requirements are still quite stringent. However, because of the increase in interest rates, lenders have lost nearly half of their revenue, and this may cause them to be more willing to lend money to borrowers with less than stellar credit. According to Black Knight's research, the most significant challenge confronting the real estate industry right now is the unaffordability of homes, which has reached an all-time low in at least 44 major regions. Despite the fact that there has been some increase in inventory, it is still only around half of what it was before the pandemic. According to Danielle Hale, senior economist at Realtor.com, rising inventory will eventually reduce home price rise, but the double-digit rate has shown extraordinary staying power thus far. As increased home expenses begin to max out the budgets of some buyers, those who continue to be in the market can look forward to somewhat less competitive conditions later on in the year. For more videos like this, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to smash the like button. I am the Educated Weirdo, and as always, much love and respect.